Hi, how's it going? It's Tansel here. Now, yesterday I was going through with one of my clients about speed reading, and the important thing to remember when you're reading is your intention. I think that's probably the biggest thing out of trying to understand what you're reading and finishing off what you're reading, because one of the biggest problems is that people don't get to finish a book, or don't get to finish their readings. You sort of read, leave it out for a while, and then when you come back, you've forgotten what's going on. So in order to sort of beat that, get around that, what you need to look at before you even start reading is you need to look at, okay, what is my intention behind it? Do I need to learn what's in this book? Do I need to study it? Do I need to just, get some quick information and then use it for my work? These are all different things, right? They're not all one. And when we try and approach reading, what we do generally is we do all of that in one. So as we're reading, we're trying to understand it, we're trying to memorize it, we're trying to learn it, we're trying to study it, we're trying to reflect on it. Can you see what's going on? And because we're going through all these processes, what happens is that our brain is doing multiple things at once, and then we forget. We go back and we forget. So that's what's happening. So the approach that I recommend people go through is, step by step. So what I generally do with people is say, okay, look at your intention. Once you've got your intention, okay, first thing you need to do is, if you're wanting to get the information from what you read, because most people do want the knowledge and the information, and they want to retain that information, right? So the first step you can do is to essentially map out what you're reading. So whether it's the whole book, whether it's a chapter, whatever your intention is, map it out. And the best source that I get people to use is a mind map, right? And you can do this online as well. So if you watched any of my videos on my YouTube channel, I talk about mind maps and go through that process as well. So you can mind map. So what that involves is you creating the structure. So if you go to the contents page, you can map that out. Now that doesn't require you to process a lot of information. You just look at the contents page and then map it out. That's easy. So you got the chapters, sub-chapters, and you might have sub-chapters in there. That's the first step. So it doesn't require much brain use. Then what you do from there is you can map out the keywords underneath that. So what that means is you got to start reading, of course. And as you start reading, you can start mapping out what's underneath all those headings and contents that you've got. Right now, this process, depending on how you do it, it can be a real challenge or it can be really easy. It's what you make of it, right? And this is where I help people, I guess, is, trying to make it so that they're not putting too much information, right? So your goal here is to put your understanding as the key points and the key themes and context and so on. So once you've got all that, then you can sort of look at the whole mind map and understand where bits and pieces are. And the next stage after that is more so, okay, how do I visualize and learn everything? And the final stage is memorization. Really, you don't need to memorize what you read, because comprehension is understanding. That's what you want. If you really need to memorize certain bits and pieces, then you can use memory techniques for that, right? But it's not, 50, 60, 70, 80% of reading. It's not memorization, right? Memorization is only a very small percentage. So, that's a very important point. So whether you're studying or whether you're, trying to get a lot of information, don't worry about memorization too much. Worry about the process of gathering that information, organizing the information, putting, the keywords down so you understand where things fit, visualizing it all so you can understand it better. And if there's any memorization you need to do, using certain techniques like linking or memory palace and so on. So there's a strategy there. It's very, very quick. Like when I go through my coaching programs, obviously I go through in more detail, but at least it's something for you to think about, because there's so many people out there that want to be able to grasp and get that knowledge as quickly and as best as possible. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, and see you in the next video. Cheers.